Kaikas, Ramadan Kareem to everyone. This is me, Jeka, for Bedtime Stories. Tonight, we will be reading Mr. McGinty's Monarchs. Mr. McGinty and his dog, Sophie, are on a mission to save the monarch's butterflies. All summer, they've watched the beautiful butterflies flutter amongst the flowers and tracked the caterpillars as they munched their milkweed. But one day, Mr. McGinty and Sophie find a milkweed caught in caterpillars in danger. What will he and Sophie do? Well, they'll rescue the fledgling monarchs with the help of a little creativity and the local school kids, of course. On lazy afternoons, Mr. McGinty watched the monarchs dip and rise on the summer breeze. With his magnifying glass, he studied them sipping sweet nectar from the flowers. And when Mr. McGinty and Sophie went for long walks, he marveled as monarchs flitted and fluttered from milkweed to milkweed laying eggs. Milkweed's the only plant a monarch uses to lay its eggs, he told Sophie. When the eggs hatch, the caterpillars feed on the leaves. What do you think of that? Sophie's tail thumped. Summer slipped by quickly. One morning, Mr. McGinty awoke with Sophie's warm breath on his face. Come on, girl, let's check on the monarchs. When they reached the stretch of road where the milkweed grew thick, Mr. McGinty's shoulders drooped. His lower lip trembled. All the beautiful plants lay on the ground. Mr. McGinty examined the cut stems. Monarch caterpillars clung to the drying milkweed. Some stretched their stripped bodies, searching for a place to climb. Hurrying home, Mr. McGinty loaded an old wagon in with jars. Its rusted wheels squeaked as he pulled it from the shed. Hurry, Sophie, he called. We're going on a monarch mission. Squeak, creak, squeak, creak, squeak, creak, said the rusted wheels. Mr. McGinty carefully picked up each monarch caterpillar. Bet you didn't know these little wigglers are also called larvae. Huh, Sophie? Sophie sniffed at a caterpillar. Car slowed. People shook their heads. Lots of fuss over some fancy worms, one woman said. Mr. McGinty paid no heed. With gentle fingers, he lifted each leaf and lowered each larva. Soon, his jars were full of wiggling, stretching caterpillars. Time to go home, girl, he patted Sophie's head. Mr. McGinty, Sophie, and the wagon full of wiggling, stretching caterpillars rolled along. Squeak, creak, squeak, creak, squeak, creak, said the rusted wheel. Mr. McGinty purchased aquariums, lots and lots of aquariums. He lined the bottoms with sticks and milkweed leaves. He placed the caterpillars inside and covered each aquarium with a screen. Stroking Sophie's ears, he watched the caterpillars feast on fresh leaves. Wow. Mr. McGinty slumped into his chair. How will we ever take care of all these caterpillars, Sophie? They'll need fresh milkweed leaves every day. They'll need someone to watch them as they grow, and someone to release them after they become butterflies. Mr. McGinty sat up straight and snapped his fingers. Sophie, he said, I've got it. The next morning, he and Sophie loaded the truck with caterpillars. They drove to a nearby school. Mr. McGinty taught the children about the life cycle of monarchs, from eggs to caterpillars, to chrysalises, to butterflies. When these caterpillars become butterflies, he said, they will migrate. He left an aquarium of wiggling, stretching monarch caterpillars with each classroom, so the children could feed and care for them. At the end of the day, Mr. McGinty had one aquarium left. His eyes sparkled. "Looks like this one's coming home with us, Sophie." Every day, Mr. McGinty fed the caterpillars fresh milkweed leaves. The monarch caterpillars grew and grew. They formed chrysalises until finally, when the monarchs had straightened their wings and were strong enough to fly, Mr. McGinty rolled out the old wagon one more time. "Squeak, creak, squeak, creak, squeak, creak," said the rusty wheels. "Ready, Sophie?" Mr. McGinty laughed. Woof! Sophie danced around his feet. They joined the children on the playground. Together, they lifted the screens from the aquariums, one after another. Monarchs spread their wings and flew up, up, and up. An early autumn breeze brushed against Mr. McGinty's cheek. He watched as monarchs fluttered feather-light across the field. "They have a long way to go," said Mr. McGinty, "but they'll be back." Sophie licked him on the nose. "And we'll be here to welcome them home," Mr. McGinty said. And that is our bedtime story for tonight. See you again tomorrow for another bedtime story. Thank you and see you.